understand that what we're trying to do in this video, you can use to apply to your own scenarios, and I'm hoping that you picked up these sources of information along the way. I'm trying to use a real life stock and its very recent history to explore ideas, concepts, and resources. Last video, we said we were going to do postmortem due diligence on JPEX, and we said why.
¿Cómo que why? ¿Por qué? Because.
As you can see, on Tuesday, we went from 3 cents, 30328, and then we were going down a little bit up. And all of a sudden here around noon on Friday, we just plummeted. So we're going to take a look at why.
That is just really too silly to answer.
So what I did first is I started looking at iHub or Investor Hub. Let's go there, and from there type in the stock symbol JPEX Global Inc. And then from there go to the message board and scroll down. My purpose for this at the moment is to find out some postings that would shed some light on what happened over here, why it happened. And I'm going to say that things started going south about Friday, I guess, yes, around noon, because if I scroll this over and get those high volumes at the bottom, that bottom chart out of the way, then you can see that the typical volumes are not that high. So, but they almost become non-existent when I bring that back into picture. So I was going to say somewhere around noon or so to February the 4th is when things started happening. And I don't want to read through all the postings. I don't even want to read through the text of the postings. I just wanted to get the subject line. Now, you have to be careful with being on message boards when you're trading penny stocks, because you get a lot of bashers that have their own agenda. You get pump and dumpers that are in there. And so you have to be very careful. But that's not to say the message boards are totally useless either. So around February the 4th, just like I said, just around noon, I noticed this very interesting and ominous post. This is what I mean. So I went to a newer page. So I'm going from Friday the 4th, February the 4th at noon, and I'm moving now forward. So we are now still on Friday. It's almost 2 p.m., but not quite. And here we have two postings back to back by a J Money Hoops. Now, if you'll notice, he says, like I stated in the summertime, trash. And then I thought this was a great merger, LMAO. So you got to think about this. Why is this guy even on this message board? I wonder how many postings he makes in this stock. Think about it. If you are a day trader and you're busy trading penny stocks, would you spend your time being on a message board that you have no position in? And if you do have a position in it, why is he posting like that? So I think, and I'm not going to get really into it right now, but I'm saying this is a possibility of just a basher, and you have to wonder why. Now, like I said, the message board does have its uses, and one of the good uses of the message board is that, especially with something like this one, for example, I am recording this at some 40 minutes after midnight, February the 6th. So that would be now Sunday morning. And here we have the last message was just a little while ago, about an hour ago, Saturday evening. And there's a lot of activity. And with a lot of activity, you'll get people that do some research, and they'll post what the research is if you want to sift through here. Don't confuse going to the message board with doing DD or due diligence. You're you're essentially going off of other people's research, but it is a place to start and to take stock of. I shouldn't use the word stock. To get the status of how things are. Now we've been to Market Watch before, so let's go there now. And if we scroll, we get a description that says JPX Global is an exploration stage company which provide acquisition for exploration of mineral properties and gives the minerals. It also, though, provides a range of waste management services. And just those are two really different businesses. And I'm beginning to think that, well, this mineral thing isn't giving them, I'm just totally guessing here, right? This mineral stuff isn't getting them any revenue, so they're going to try to make some money doing waste management services. Who knows? All right, so we have a brief idea of maybe what the company does. Let's try doing a search. Let's go to tools. Let's click for 1 year. And if we remember, we did see, even though it was a basher perhaps, but he did mention merge. So look, JPX Global to merge with vMost Technologies. Let's add that to our search. Let's go to tools again. Let's go down to past year again. And after scrolling a little bit, we see something interesting here. vMost.com. So let's go there. Seems like a legit website. So let's go over here to the company, and I notice it says stock info. And that's definitely a stock we've been dealing with, JPEX. And it says over here, non-energy minerals. So, and there's that dumping that took place in the high volumes. So this is definitely the stock we've been working with, and therefore vMost is who we want. Now, you could have gotten all this information just from following along with the message post, but this is us doing our own research. I'm guessing vMost is a private company that wants to go public, and so it finds a small public company to merge with. This seems to happen a lot. So let's take a look and see what we can find out about vMost. Here we have their profile, I guess you want to call it, on LinkedIn. I hardly ever use LinkedIn, but here we are. And according to this, 17 employees is not a lot. It's a very small company. And right here, it's talking about technical consulting, technical support, IT staffing. So they are a glorified temp agency for, like, software engineer and IT people. I've done that most of my career. So there's staffing agencies that are a dime a dozen. Right off the bat, I don't see how a private staffing agency that wanted to go public caused this, but let's keep going. If we go back to vMost's website and we go to news items, here we have something interesting, and that was just last month, actually like a week ago, not even a week ago. vMost Technologies is pleased to announce the launch of vShield Cloud Security product, the first security product offering from vMost. Here's their Twitter page essentially saying the same thing. I don't think that news had any effect. Here we are, January 27, and no, nothing there. So you saw the news about a security product, which is supposed to be a real product. They're not just and they're not any longer just an IT staffing company, but yet nothing doing on the stock. So then I said, okay, why don't we go back and look at this JPX Global vMost merger, October 29, somewhere in there. And here we have the graph, the chart at October 29. And that bit of news, look at it. Look at the amount of volume and the jump in price. News did have an effect on the stock. So here's what we think we know so far. JPEX, the stock, is JPX Global Inc., which supposedly does minerals and waste management. And then there's BMost, which is a staffing agency, and it's in a short way of putting it. But they also have come out with a new product, and there's only 17 employees, and there's a supposed merger. Let's talk a little bit more about mergers and why it seemed to be such a big deal. Reverse mergers typically occur through a simpler, shorter, and less expensive process than a conventional initial public offering. In a reverse merger, an active private company takes control and merges with a dormant public company. A conventional initial public offering is a more complicated process and tends to be considerably more expensive. Remember the date of the PR, October 29 of last year. Here we go. So here's a news item from Microcap Daily. JPX Global, that's the one, JPEX, the stock, has been making a powerful run north, meaning, increasing price, and trading significant volume. The stock is getting noticed by big players, and the reason is because it is a reverse merger. The company announced it consummated the reverse merger with VMost. So now that we touched on a merger, let's rehash here. So essentially, a private, profitable, right, company wants to go public, and they choose to do a reverse merger, let's just say merger, with a small, dormant, not profitable public company that already has a stock symbol, in other words, JPEX, and because it is easier than going public from zero than doing an IPO or initial public offering. This is just my own take on it. I can think of three reasons why someone would want to get into penny stocks. Number one, which is what we started with, we want to do some day trading and make some quick money. B, we're hoping for a reverse merger. Why? Because there's this bigger or profitable private company that wants to acquire, gain an interest in this small, nothing penny stock company that's public, but they have a stock, merge, and therefore the stock that I have with the penny stock company becomes now valuable. Or C, a little bit probably more traditional, I'm actually thinking that this brand new little public company has a great idea for a product or service that eventually will make money. Like, for example, if had I bought Apple 100 years ago and you know where it is today. So everything we learned so far sounded really good, right? And that's why we were seeing this upward trend, especially this jump September to October. So then what happened over here this past Friday? Let's take first a look at JPX Global, the public company, and we can do that a little bit by going to SEC.gov, and that is because public companies have filing requirements with the Securities and Exchange Commission. So we're going to go here to filings, company filing search. And right here, we can search for the company by ticker and symbol or CIK. Let's do JPX Global. And then you'll notice there are different filing forms. The last form was filed on 2019, the year 2019, departure of directors or certain officers. And so that was last date that anything was filed for JPX Global. That bit of information we just found out, the last filing was some time ago, matches part of the definitions that I was talking about when we were learning about reverse mergers, and that is a dormant public company is going to be taken over by a supposedly profitable private company. So that's one half of the pie, JPX Global. I think we have covered as much as we can or need to about JPX Global. It's essentially doing nothing, and that would explain the reason for all this dead part here prior to all of this. and the merger supposedly. I will see you in the next video.